while new changes could be coming to your 401k.
Heather Sullivan is standing by to break it all down for you this morning. Hey, Heather.
Yeah, President Trump has issued an executive order allowing companies to expand the types of investments that you can use in your retirement savings, including crypto and some other non-traditional investments. So we asked financial professional Michael Neuenschwander with Outlook Wealth Advisors to join us to break down what this could mean for your 401k. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, good morning. Good to be here.
Yeah, first let's talk about what these investments are: crypto, private equity, and even real estate. What does that look like in a 401k?
Well, I mean, in the financial world, they all fall under what you'd call alternative investments, just meaning that they're not your traditional stock, bond, mutual fund.
Okay.
It says with them, though, I mean, they typically have some different risks, different attributes. So private, as the name implies, is, companies that aren't traded publicly. Real estate, though, can mean anything from private individual houses all the way up to giant warehouses, corporate offices, and so it's sort of all over the place. And while crypto, we all know Bitcoin, but in truth, there's hundreds of them out there.
Right. So, you mentioned risk, because I understand some of these come with higher risk. Can you talk a little bit about that? And I understand some of them also will have higher fees. Yeah.
So when we look at that as well, we can say that while we're used to the traditional market, risk, and some of them have that, but private equity, for example, says normally that's not priced every day. So, it can be, for people that are used to a normal 401k, which is I know exactly what I have every single day, many times that's only priced once a month or once a year. And oftentimes once you're in some of these investments, they're not as liquid, meaning you can't sell them every single day, either.
Okay.
And yeah, speaking of fees, I mean, the traditional, private equity is what they call 2 and 20, meaning they charge 2% every year, but also 20% of any profit. Compared to, a normal mutual fund in a 401k is typically 0.25%, instead.
Okay.
And so while there can be some benefits, there's some extra cost, other things to go with it, as well.
Well, let's talk about the benefits. Let's look at the risk versus the reward if someone wants to have these in their 401k.
Yeah, so this is why is it being talked about? Why is there a big push for it? And so if we look at crypto, for example, Bitcoin in particular, say last year the market was up pretty well. The market was up about 24%. Bitcoin was up more than 100%. And so that's why, why are people excited about it? Why are people looking at it? But we also need to remember a couple years before that, it was down 65%. So it's sort of high risk, high return, to go with it. And private equity, as we said, similar. If we look at 10 years, its number was averaging about 13.5% compared to the market of 10. However, there's those limited liquidity restrictions that go with it. So it's sort of, the rule is really asking the Department of Labor to kind of take a fresh look. So it's not saying that it's all approved. It's just that the instruction is, should these kind of investments be looked at a little closer and potentially make it into 401ks and retirement plans?
And if that is the case, because most people get their 401k through their employer, would this mean that it just might be in there whether you want it to be there or not?
There's a couple of steps to it. So it says, obviously the Department of Labor is doing their review, but even if they approve it, it really comes down to your employer and your plan sponsor. So whether they actually add it in there is a whole different question, because at the end of the day, legally, they are responsible for what's in your plan. And so they have a tendency to say they don't want to put real high risk or frankly things that people may not understand, in that plan, because ultimately they bear some responsibility.
Okay, Michael Neuenschwander with Outlook Wealth Advisors. Thanks so much for coming in to telling us about it and shedding some light, helping us understand what these possibilities are. We appreciate it.
Thank you.